Dun 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 dun. Today at Sickflix we're rating Spectre and talking about whether we think it is spectacular. And Spectre is a James Bond film and really doesn't need any more of a synopsis than that because that's pretty much
It's James Bond.
all you need to
Of the
know.
modern era, Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig, so if you've seen the other James Bond films,
Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace
The
and
plot-
Skyfall.
there are people that James Bond wants to kill and people that he wants to have sex with, and some of them are the same people.
True.
Pretty much every
As
James Bond film.
all James Bond
Yeah.
Very
films.
true.
So that's kind of the thing. All right, so we're going to talk about it. And Kate, what did you think?
So, I actually really liked this movie. Now, there were definitely some moments that I didn't love. There's a sequence in the beginning with Sam
The video.
Smith
There
song
was a
playing.
really weird. There's
Okay,
always a weird intro.
musical
I don't feel like it's
video
much of a
to
spoiler.
open up James Bond. There's
Yeah.
always a mini
Yeah.
music video.
And Skyfalls was great, like
That
with the
opens up
Adele song
James
that
Bond.
played. It was visually very beautiful.
It's visually
Even
very
in the older
available.
ones, it's kind of a tradition.
Very
And
visually
see, and I'm
available.
actually, I'll just say here at the beginning now, like I'm not very experienced
prude?
with James Bond movies.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen a lot of them. I've really only seen the ones with Daniel Craig, and I haven't even seen all of those. But I loved Skyfall, and I guess for me, that's what I was comparing this movie to. So just sequence in the beginning, Sam Smith song, very strange, very
Not a great
odd.
song.
Not a great song. Sorry, Sam.
all
but
silhouetted with sort of
tentacles and
lots of
places.
tentacles.
There's like tentacle sex.
Yeah,
it
it
was
seemed a
very
little bit like
strange.
octopus porn.
Yeah, there was some octoporn.
Octoporn.
And
Yeah.
we didn't enjoy it.
So
Did-
that was very
I could have
strange.
done without
Didn't enjoy
that.
Could have
But-
done without that. Would've been a
Probably
much
will be
better
very
movie.
popular with the Asian audiences.
You never
so-
know. It's worldwide. It actually is doing well.
That is.
Oh, you're talking about Spectre.
Spectre, yeah.
I thought you were talking about specifically.
I don't know about that.
Tentacle.
That may have been the thing that they
Okay.
really are into tentacles in those
Okay.
other countries. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
America
either way,
football,
It was
Asia
very
tentacles.
It was very
So many
awkward, and I did
racist
not.
comments
Now
just
the
happened.
point of the scene is that the Spectre has its like octopi symbol. And they were
just an
working
octopus.
on the
that.
ring.
It wasn't just random.
No,
but
there is
then-
an octopus on the ring.
There's
yeah,
an octopus
so
on the
there's
ring,
an
and
octopus
I
on the
mean,
ring.
to be fair, like it's pretty obvious. Like they show you the ring that has the octopus on it. You kind of go into the octopus, and then it's this sequence,
which is somewhere I never wanted to be.
Caught you in its run.
Caught you in the
I don't think anyone wants to
in
do
the
that.
tentacles. So
And then there's all these naked women, because there's always naked women in James Bond. But the problem is when you combine tentacles and naked women.
it just gets weird. It's very strange. So could have done without that.
Very odd.
Other than that, I think Daniel Craig does a very good job.
Yeah.
I think he's a good actor.
He's getting older, though.
He's getting a little bit, but
He
he's
is
still
getting-
very
he's got quite a
handsome.
bit of gray.
Still a very handsome
He's
man.
still
At
a
least he
handsome
has hair.
man. His,
Yeah.
his like body stature,
Sure.
like the way he stands and holds himself, is definitely very like James Bond to me.
To get into that stance, it's a little slower.
You know what?
If you notice when he
that's
moves
right,
out of
but-
the stance, it's kind of
A little slow, but it's smooth. He's still smooth.
Honestly,
Slow and smooth.
I would
Slow and
take.
smooth.
I would
Like
take Daniel
like
Craig.
molasses, rich molasses.
I would take Daniel Craig at 60 over Pierce Brosnan at 30.
Sure.
I mean, it's hard to watch I didn't mind the Pierce Brosnan films when it was back in the day, but now that I've seen Daniel Craig playing James Bond,
Now
it's really hard to go back.
Good. Hard to
He
go
does
back.
have a
Now,
different
your
sort of
favorite
confidence
is-
that's better.
Is your favorite
Yeah.
Sean Connery? Is that your favorite?
Oh yeah,
James
I mean
Bond?
it's gotta be Sean Connery's
Same
the
for
man.
you?
Yeah.
Because I've never really seen James Bond with Sean Connery, so
Yeah.
I'm coming
They're all
from a
not great
perspective
movies,
of I don't
though.
have a lot to compare these
No,
two.
they definitely upped the movie making.
Yes, the production
So
values of
production
James
quality
Bond
has gone
are
up.
much
Production
better
value has gone
now.
up. Just
But-
with the times, I'm sure.
I mean, I would take Sean Connery now as James Bond.
Yeah.
Like,
I would
don't
too.
care. He could be 80.
I think he'd still be
just
super
with
smooth.
the modern
He's an
production
excellent
value.
actor.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Still
you
a ladies' man.
Kind of
Just
like
speed up
the
his sort
Red
of
films,
running.
like where
You
it's
could
like
just make
James Bond coming out of retirement.
when he runs, have him do it in fast forward or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I liked all of the side characters that are the not Daniel Craig's of this movie. I really like the guy that plays.
It's actually on production. That's how they
Just
classify
the
him. It's
not
like,
John
all right, we have the
James
Daniel Craigs over here and the not Daniel Craigs.
Yeah,
Can you over
stand
there?
over there. So I really like the guy that plays Q. I think he does a really good job in that character. He's kind of like nerdy, and I think he does a great job. I think he's great for that role.
Not my favorite either.
Well, again, I'm only comparing this to the only other really James Bond movie I've seen, which is Skyfall, which he was also in.
The one Bond girl. There's two Bond girls in this film. The one Bond girl actually created a little bit of a stir because she was so old. Because they actually have a 40-year-old Bond girl.
She's still gorgeous, though.
But yeah, she was gorgeous.
She was still very beautiful. But the main girl that's in it, I cannot remember her name. She's a French actress, and she does a great job, and I really liked her. And then also the bad guy.
She was okay.
Whose name also slips my mind.
Christopher Waltz.
Yes, excellent bad guy.
He's so good,
and
he's so good at being a bad guy. I've
good at
seen
being
him
a good guy and bad guy.
and a few other ones, like Inglourious Bastards. I've seen him
Django.
in, and he's always so good. Yeah. I think he's so good at being like mischievous. Like he enjoys the fact that he's this kind of like twisted bad guy, and it's just a very weird
sort of going against the grain. He really gets a lot.
He seems a little bit more psycho to me.
Yes.
Very psycho.
Well, no, he is a
psychotic. Very disturbing.
He is a clinically diagnosed as psychotic, actually. I don't know. A lot of people don't know that, but Christopher Waltz, he's not acting. He actually thinks that he's blowing up people in the film. No, I'm just kidding. He's a very good actor.
So anyway, so for me, I really did enjoy it. I'm sure it could have been better, but I still liked it for the most part.
Along those lines, I think if you like James Bond movies, I think you should go see this. Other than that, we will lay into some of the problems.
Okay, all right.
We point out some of the good points. It's in bad need of a script rewrite, I think. So the biggest problem with the movie was was more the lines. The dialogue was very weak. There was a couple missed opportunities for some great lines. Like, for instance, in this one scene when we don't tell you who, but one of the bad guys meets his end at one point, and his line that he says is, "Shoot."
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like always saying to his face.
That was
it's not big time missed opportunity because he was being killed by a sort of a
bunch of kegs.
A bunch of kegs were
killing him. So he was
him.
literally being killed by the drink.
A bunch of beers or drinks, and you could
so many jokes.
A lot of opportunities for drinks.
Yeah,
there.
and the worst part is they built up. They like zoomed on his face, and they're like, shoot.
It like I said, it wasn't even delivered well. It wasn't
like why. What?
Yeah, it was
Richard
a
at that same moment had a good idea for a script rewrite. He said, "Remember what you said? You should have said."
Bond could have said that it was a comment that James Bond said.
Oh, and I thought what the villain was going to say. Oh, my mother always said the drink would kill me.
Yeah.
Right before, and then he just goes off the train.
Well, it reminded me a little bit of the line in X-Men when Storm goes, "You know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else."
Terrible.
Such a bad line.
Yeah. So, and then another line that I really thought was lacking is actually Q's line at this one moment when James Bond was kind of, doing a lot of things he didn't like. And so he says, "I really, really hate you, James Bond."
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking, I really, really hate this movie. It's like, any other adjectives there you could come up with?
It's like when
just really, really, really. Oh, really, really.
I really, really, really.
It's
really,
I strenuously object.
Yeah. You strenuously object.
In that case,
overrule. Yeah. It's like in the movie Singing in the Rain. When it's like they're first making a talkie for the first time, and he's like, "Can I just say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you." It's
excellent example. Yeah.
Really, 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 really hate you.
Yeah. It's like, okay. This needs a.
The director's like, cut. Can we try that again? But could you add a couple more reallys?
Could you bring in Rob Reiner for some advice here, or just somebody, maybe an extra script writer from the studio could maybe just work on it a little bit. Other than that. There was some great classic James Bond things, like the plane in the
Aston
snow.
Martin was back. The car.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah. But I did like the plane in the snow part of the action sequence. Mm-hmm. In the middle of it. Near the end, the explosions were well done. Mm-hmm. So the classic. There were some good chase scenes. The on the foot chase scene was a little lacking. I couldn't help comparing it to Casino Royale,
which is such a good.
They brought in one of the best parkourists worldwide. Mm-hmm. One of the two basically inventors of parkour, whatever, masters, and
was it?
Yeah, and he was the one actually in the movie, was the guy for parkour, and then, his name escapes me, but then there was a scene in the movie where they were on foot, and James Bond was chasing an elderly, somewhat overweight villain. And he couldn't catch him.
No.
So I was thinking he was staying with the parkourers in Casino Royale.
I guess Craig's been aging,
But there's one point when the guy running away trips over a number of things.
Yeah.
And I said to Richard in the theaters, like, not parkour. And he's like, no. Not good parkour.
Not good parkour. Yeah, there was... right in that same scene, before the chase scene... There was this part where
this was near the beginning.
James Bond is coming right at the beginning. James Bond is coming up, and he's with this girl, and she's like in the bed, like waiting, and he's like, "I'll be right back." Mm-hmm. And then he goes, and he never comes back.
I was surprised by that.
He's like, "It'll just take a second." And I thought this is gonna be really cool. They're gonna have him do a lot of really smooth things
and come right back. Exactly the same.
And then he didn't come back, so I'm like, okay, well now James Bond isn't smooth.
Yeah.
He just lied to that woman and then went on. I guess apparently he's not quick enough to pull it off anymore that he can actually smoothly come back to that woman. Didn't even explain
if the script couldn't come back.
She was never in it after that.
They needed Larry David to consult on the film.
Why did he even need that woman? Like, it didn't even make any sense. He didn't need her to get to that hotel room.
Well, maybe they wanted an extra
climbed
James
on
Bond,
the roof.
woman, an extra Bond girl.
I don't know, but I just thought that shows the problem of the flaws in this movie. Is that there were... It was, in some ways, to me, it was death by 1,000 cuts. Mm-hmm. It had all the right elements of a James
Bond film.
But not
good, solid
extra
villain, solid action.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it just needed a couple extra rewrites. Yeah, it didn't have needed an extra coat of lacquer.
To make that cohesive, like, storytelling and plot arc wise, to make it all really fit. And then also just in the smoothness of Bond, that is just what's so enjoyable about that character. Mm-hmm. If he had done that, for instance, that first scene, when I saw that and he didn't come back, I even turned to Kate and I'm like, what the heck? And at that moment, it was the first time I'm like, this movie is not going to be great. Mm-hmm. This movie is not going to be a great movie.
So you're saying not sick.
So
definitely not sick for me. I have to say, watchable if you like James Bond films. It is a enjoyable Bond. It was better than Daniel Craig's... what's the one that's not great?
Quantum Solace.
It's better than Quantum Solace, so if you like Quantum Solace, go ahead and watch it. It's better than that.
It is better. Well, Quantum Solace is horrible.
I really hated Quantum Solace.
I haven't seen that one. That's the one I haven't seen.
It's
you don't have to.
Significantly worse than Skyfall. And worse than Casino Royale.
It was reviewed worse than Skyfall.
Yeah. So for me, it's Skyfall... Production-wise is a little better than Casino Royale, but story-wise, Casino Royale is a little better. So they're pretty even for me. And then Quantum Solace is like down here, and then it's like somewhere in the middle. So, but that still doesn't make it a sick flick. Yeah. And again, watch Casino Royale if you like it. Watch Skyfall. Skip Quantum Solace. If you really like Skyfall, and then maybe watch Quantum Solace. If you like Quantum Solace, you can watch this movie. Otherwise, I would just skip it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna make it a sick flick. I definitely don't think it's a sick flick. I think Skyfall is probably a sick flick. I really enjoyed Skyfall, and I did think that it was a better movie. But so that being said, I still think it was very enjoyable. I think both of you. I will still say I think you both would have enjoyed it more if we didn't see the 9:35 showing.
It was pretty late.
We ended up being there till like midnight.
It's a long movie.
It's a long movie.
It's
over 2.5 hours. That's why I could have used some editing.
Another example of how the movie which just seemed to be rushed and didn't get that extra coat of polish, because I really feel like there was no excuse for them not making this a 2-hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there wasn't so much great footage and great scenes that they needed to make it 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
Wasn't as driven too in terms of the heart.
So are you going to say sick then?
No, it's not a sick flick.
Okay, so I'll agree. So that's not sick. But I would say if you're a James Bond fan, I'll agree, you should go see it and you'll enjoy it. If you're just kind of a casual action movie fan, there isn't anything where you have to see it. I would say Casino Royale, that opening sequence with the parkour, it's one of the movies. It's an action. If you like action movies, you have to see Casino Royale.
And there's a great opener to Skyfall.
This is not in that category. I think not Sick, and still a good James Bond movie. So if you like James Bond, and there's not a lot of great movies out right now, so it's probably one of the better ones you can go see.
Unfortunately, yeah. Every James Bond movie starts with a pretty good opener. And you can kind of tell how great it's going to be from in the opener. I feel like Casino Royale, you're in for a good movie. Skyfall, same. This one, you're like, I might be in for not a great movie.
So, to be fair, I didn't actually really, really hate it.
I didn't hate it either.
I was just saying that for the joke, but it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was okay.
So, pretty good, not Sick.
The other thing about Daniel Craig movies, I will say, just a final thought, is that Daniel Craig movies, what I liked about their James Bond, that they got wrong in Quantum Solace, and they also got wrong in Quantum Solace, and they also got wrong in Spectre, is that it was heart-driven. Unlike Sean Connery, who he's just smooth, Daniel Craig in Casino Royale, you see the heart of James Bond. It's very heart, soul, emotion-driven film. And so is Skyfall with his relationship with the woman who's his boss, right? That was lacking in this movie, and it was lacking in Quantum Solace, and that's what, to me...
So he's not quite as cool as Sean Connery, but on the other hand, he has this emotional side.
There's an emotional core that is lacking of any other James Bond.
Right, that's true. I'll agree with that.
Yeah. Well, that's our review. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you like Spectre, if you like other Daniel Craig movies, what's your favorite Bond? Let us know.